Hi, Jane, and welcome to Spiritual Talk.
Hi, Paul. Nice to see you again.
First for 2023. It's brilliant to be back. I hope everybody at home has had a lovely Christmas. And we kick off and start the new year. We've got a brilliant guest, haven't we?
We do, for sure.
Let's get the intro going, shall we? Are we ready?
We're ready. Let's go.
Hi, Jane. Hi, everybody. It's good to be back.
It definitely is. Hi, Paul.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I hope. How was your Christmas? Good?
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right.
Good.
How was yours?
Yeah, I mustn't grumble. Mustn't grumble. We got through it. So we're here and we're back for 2023. Super excited tonight because we've got another great guest coming in. This lady, I've had the privilege to sit in one of her development groups. It was actually for it was a course for developing mediums that were doing platform work. And I've been doing platform work for a couple of years, and I was lucky enough to work with this lady. Must be about 5 years ago now. And it was a great weekend. So shall we just bring her in?
Just bring her in.
Shall we? Because I'm teasing everybody. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have the wonderful Donna Stewart. She is an international medium. She is, shall we say, I don't want to say she's been around the block, but she really has. She's been on so many different shows. She's worked with some fabulous people. She's also appeared on The Sixth Sense, as some people will know, with the late Colin as a guest. Also worked many times with Tony Stockwell. So without further ado, let's bring Donna in. Hopefully technology is going to work. Let's bring her in. Hi, Donna.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Jane. Hi, everybody.
Welcome to Spiritual Talk. So part of our show is we like to know how mediums start, how they start developing. What was it? Something significant that happened to you? How did you start on your journey?
Oh, okay. So, well, first of all, it is absolutely lovely to be with you both and everybody's well. And Happy New Year. When do we ever stop saying that?
I know. I don't know.
I don't think we ever do.
Yeah, Christmas next year. So I'm going to have to behave myself after such a fabulous introduction. Thanks for asking. I'm always interested by other people's journeys as well. Mine kind of happened by default because ever since I was a small child, I'd been aware of, well, I didn't know what it was, but I just knew I wasn't on my own. And, I'd be at the top of the landing when I was a kid and someone would come up behind me and make me think they were there and I couldn't see them. So I was kind of really spooky dude with that. And I was quite lucky because, my parents were very open to just allowing what needed to happen. And then just sort of my early life was incredibly active. And apparently the house that I was born in was quiet until I arrived. And it's like they all came with me. And started doing all kinds of shenanigans, which was terrifying to some. And that just, to be honest with you, I just went along with it. I was a bit scared of it at times when you're a child and you can't see what's trying to kind of put a hand towards you in the dark. And I went on with that right through. So it was very spirit-based, kind of from birth till about 9 or 10 years old. And then it flipped. And it went over to becoming psychic. So everything was precognitive dreams, premonitions, knowing what was going to happen. And this went on until it's a long story we should make short of, but just the outline of it is, sort of did all the things you do, have a family, etc. And then by the time I was 30-something years old, I was so overwhelmed with it that I thought, I'm running a bespoke wedding cake business. I can't do this with all this going on all the time. So I went along to a development group, was introduced by chance. I'd never been to a spiritist church. I'd never had a reading. I only knew Doris Stokes, and that was in the books. And somebody introduced me to a healer, and she said, you've got to come with me to this development group and we need to sort this out. So I went along, and my whole reason for going along was to turn it off. And I remember the tutor, who, if I may mention, is the wonderful Maureen Mernon, who many of you will know. She said, you know, what's your reason for being here? And I said, well, please don't think I'm being rude, but I'm not staying. Could you just show me how to switch it off and I can go back to normal? And, you know, and that's it. And that's, I'm afraid it's not very glamorous, but that's exactly what happened. I went along to turn it off, this, as a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And Maureen said, I don't think so. And it kind of went from there. You know, so I started my development. It went very quickly, and then it just, you know, it just kind of spiraled out from there. Really, it was amazing.
So, why do you think it went from? Well, you went into that psychic phase. Why do you think you went into that kind of zone?
I think it's because, well, I know it's because when you kind of get to around about the adolescent age, your energy changes.
Yeah.
And my energy developed quite early on. My adolescent energy came in earlier than some, so it's quite a lot to deal with. And I think it just changed the way that I was perceiving. I had no concept whatsoever of spirit for at least another 10 years after that. But the psychic was so overpowering, it was difficult to sleep. It was interfering with everything. Well, that's why it was a change of energy, I believe.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, you've been working for, I'm not going to mention how many years, but you've been working for a long time. You've got that experience as well. It's one question that keeps just coming to my mind, because when I do spiritual talk, I do ask upstairs. I always call it upstairs. I do ask the guys upstairs to give us questions as well. Please inspire me with questions for our guests. And one of the things I want to ask you, because I know a lot of people hear this quote, do you believe that a part of your journey, you made a contract to work this way? Do you believe in that? Do you believe that's a thing, that as a soul contract?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I look back now about how and where my life has been, the preparation that was given for that I didn't know at the time was very prevalent. You know, at 16, I was singing in a blues band. I was born into a musical family. We are used to being in front of people. You know, I'm also a drummer and a percussionist, so I'm used to that as well. I love performing arts. And just in the early part of my life, I found myself in situations. I'm actually naturally really shy. I'm sorry if people have heard this before, but don't put me in a room with people I don't know and can't talk about spirit. Otherwise, I'm no good. And so I kept finding myself in these extraordinary situations where I was in front of the public. Now, that's not anything to do with, as you'll know, Paul, with showing off or being clever, but it does give you a sense of, you know, that if you stand up, something will happen. And that, I think, is really important in mediumship. So they knew then, and because I knew, yes, at contract, soul level, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was interesting. Jane and I were just watching one of your YouTube videos where you're, sorry to bring us back as a memory, you were at Spalding, and it was a long time ago.
It was.
Yeah, it was. But you were talking, it's interesting about the guy. The guy was the interview. So I forgot his name. The interviewer. Frankie, that's it. He was saying, like, is it an aggressive energy when spirit come close to you? It was so wrong, wasn't he? Bless him. It just, that comes from a lack of not understanding what he's working with. But it's interesting. And also what I liked about how you work, you have this no nonsense approach as well. So where do you think that come from? Is it just you as a person that has that approach?
It's me as a person, I'm afraid. You know, I'm born into a family of EastEnders. You know, you can't, everything is direct. You kind of brought up that way. No offense to EastEnders, it's a great way to be. And I've always felt ever since I was really small that, you know, there's got to be a no nonsense, and it has to be, you know, part of this. It's my personality. Again, I think in preparation for the work that I was to go on to do, because, you know, the only way, I think, is the no nonsense approach. We need to know what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and the reason behind why we're doing it.
Yeah, and someone else has just made a comment as well. I don't know if you can see that, Jane. Can you see that comment? I'm just trying to find, because we go into different groups. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just trying to find where that question's coming from, because on my screen it just comes up as Facebook user.
Yes, mine does too.
Yeah.
So,
when you first started developing, did it come and go for a while, or did Spirit try work in different ways with you?
Okay. Thank you, Facebook user. Absolutely lovely question there. And the answer to that is no, it didn't come and go. It was full on. It was, it was complete. It was like just, I suppose I must have just been very ready and didn't realize it. And so once we just opened that connection, it was there and it was clear and it was precise. And Spirit have always tried different ways of working with me. And I'm sure Paul, in that, working mediumistically, you just get used to one way of working. If something else comes in, it keeps us on our toes.
So I remember the first demonstration that I did this thing called the Teddy Bear Festival about 2014, 15. And the first, I was very clairvoyant. I was very good at seeing. And then the second half started. I felt very confident. I had a really good first half. I was working with 2 other ladies, so I wasn't on my own. And I had nothing. I couldn't see. And and I heard a voice go, "Now we're going to try a different way. You're going to hear us, listen to us, listen, really tune into us." So for me, it's very much they will try and make you work in different ways. I don't know if you have that experience, Jane, but it's very. I found that very interesting. Even today, that happens to me today sometimes. And I was going to say, on the back of that, Donna, do you think that's more about honing each individual sense rather than, kind of getting stuck in one way?
Yeah, I know, totally. And if I could just say to anybody who's watching this evening, who's developing their abilities, please let Spirit work through you. Please try not to get in the way and worry if it looks okay or it sounds okay. Or obviously presentation is very important as a professional to make sure we're very aware of that we're presenting in the most sensitive way possible. But if Spirit wants to change things, if they know what they're doing, the best thing we can do is be the open vessel, because it will change. Like yourself, Paul, I've had DEMS myself. I'm primarily clairsentient, and I still am, followed very closely by clairvoyance. So, I've stood up to do DEMS and I don't feel anything. And then suddenly I can hear something, or there's music, with it as well. And the stories are endless, as I'm sure you guys have. But the one thing I would say to anybody is let Spirit work through you. Build that trust so that it's okay just to let go and just make that connection the best it can be. We have a tendency to interfere, don't we?
And that's a great thing to say, because there's a lot of people that watch Spiritual Talk that are sitting in circle, developing themselves. There are so many questions around how do they develop or build their power to connect with the spirit world. Was there something specifically that stuck with you that worked well for you? I know being a natural medium, it's there, isn't it? It can be there.
It is.
But how did you find you had to strengthen your link? I mean, to go from having it at home and yourself to go and stand, because there's an expectation when you give messages to the public. There's an expectation from the public, isn't there?
There totally is. The thing that turned things around for me with mediumship was when I went along, as we said, to the development group, and the group tutor just said to me, "Donna, just sit down there, take this photograph of the person opposite you and just talk about what you feel." And this incredible message came through that was so healing for the person. And it was just all of the feeling and the sensing. And I just had to go with it. I cannot tell you how truly privileged I feel, because I hadn't seen another medium work. I'd read a Doris Stokes book, and as I said, I didn't have anything to compare me with. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And it was so lovely, because I know sometimes you can feel under a lot of pressure. So when I did, that was the turning point for me that made me realize I don't need to shut this off. This is something I can really help somebody with their healing, their grief, and their loss. I hope that answers your question. I've kind of forgotten what it was. I get my cloud.
Yeah, I'll do the same. I get off on a tangent, and
I do the same. Yeah,
I compare myself to. Do you remember the two Ronnies and the little one? He used to start off with a joke, and it'd take about a week to get to the point. That's me sometimes. I go around the house, but no, it's mostly for me. It was around for me. I get a lot of questions from students that are asking, "How do I build that power?" And it's interesting. I do an online circle. Forgive me, guys, if you're watching. I know a few of you are watching tonight, but it's interesting. Since we've come out the circle, they've maintained the group chat, but I've noticed a lot of them have kind of lost their way a little bit because they're trying to give messages to each other, and they've lost their way outside of circle, but they want to keep that energy going, which I encourage. But then also, on the other hand, I think it's also good to go away, have a break.
Yes.
Maybe practice what you've learned and then come back afresh. So there's two sides to the argument, really. But yeah, how do we build that power as mediums? How do we consistently get to a point where it's just natural?
Well, I think that's a brilliant thought, and I'm sure, Jane, that you know all about building the power as well. And as you know, I do a lot of teaching, especially these days. And I always say to people that I really feel the most powerful thing that you can do is find time and sit with spirit. Yeah. And sit. You don't have to sit for an hour a day. You don't even have to sit for 30 minutes a day if you don't have it. But if you consciously, anybody who's developing, find some time, I always say, make it regular. Spirit will show up for you. You show up for spirit, and just sit and be open and just, yes, go into a slightly meditative state if you feel you need to, but just be open to spirit coming into your energy. And just say, Spirit, can we just build the power between us? It's such a simple instruction. And you'll find as you sit that you start to feel the energy coming in. And then you can try as well. A good one. Can I give you a little tip here, please?
Oh, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So a really good thing when you sit in the power, you can feel the energy. Now, Spirit won't mind this. This really works. Is just try to get the spirit to step back and then invite them to step forward again, and then invite them to step out and step forward. And it's like working a muscle, and it becomes stronger. And then you can start to feel the difference between when spirit are leaving your energy and when they're coming in. And as you sit and do that, boy, it becomes stronger. You'll find you either cooking on gas or it's like sitting in the freezer. But, it's just give the time for spirit, give the time to sit and be still and allow them to, because the thing is as well, what we have to realize is that spirit needs to get used to your energy in all kinds of different life situations, don't they? So, they need to know when you're feeling a bit flat or when you're feeling joyful or where you've got a lot on your mind. So if you sit and offer your energy to spirit in all of the ways that you feel, don't just wait for your best day, go and sit with them. And they'll work with you, and they'll build that connection that comes together, that works so well when you need it and when they need it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well said. Yes, well said.
Yeah.
Whether that's loved ones, guides, angels, it doesn't matter. It's all energy.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm just checking. Carol's asked, do you sit with all spirit or just guides?
I think, Carol, what a lovely question. Thank you for joining us this evening. And I would say that it has to be a personal thing. I always used to sit with my guides and work the relationship with them. I would really feel that knowing and feeling your guides is important. You can sit for family members as well. That's really nice. And for those that just want to be close to you, if you're working for your development, especially as a medium, I would say give some time to your guides, get to know them, get to know how they feel. You don't need to know their names or any of these things unless you're a person that wants to know. And me, I need name, address, phone number, shoe size and blood group. But that's just me. But I would say, it's two separate processes. So if you want to sit with your loved ones, anyone who's out there, anyone who's grieving, who's lost someone and wants to connect to those beautiful souls, then do. But I would say set your intention. Now, that's not us being needy or greedy at all. It's just being clear so the spirit know what we're trying to achieve. So if you want to sit with your loved ones, perhaps say, loved ones, could you come forward in this time together? Or guides, can we get to know each other? So again, always respectfully, we always ask sweetly and nicely. Because sometimes they need a bit of direction from us.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a great question. I don't know if you can see that one, Jane, from Helen.
Yes. So Helen asks, my question is, I actually don't feel spirit around me when I'm asking for spirit to join me. I've worked on the exercise that you've mentioned, but I'm not feeling it. Any advice?
Okay, so Helen, thank you. And, it can be frustrating when we can't feel spirit around us. Even experienced mediums go through times when the connection's not as strong as we want it to be. Could I just say, Helen, and I mean this sweetly, darling, stop trying so hard. I really feel that's what's happening. I know you want it so much, and we all do. And I would just say, just sit and just say, I'm just open to whatever needs to happen. Obviously, you're working in the right space with the right quality of energies. I think sometimes it's so possible to want it so much that all the barriers come down, because there's also, I think as well, our mind does this thing, doesn't it? The human part of our mind tells us what we should expect, what should happen, what the person in the circle next to us is going through. And then you see all these fabulous TV mediums and think, I'm never going to get there. So I would say, try not to try so hard, Helen. You will get there. Spirit do want to work with you. They never, ever don't work with a willing, loving soul that you are. So keep going. Just keep going. Okay? Hope that helps.
Brilliant question. Brilliant question.
Yes. I think that happens to all of us, that we all, I know for myself, that if I'm really trying to connect, I become frustrated. And then as soon as I get up and move, or, turn on music, or spirit will talk to me when I'm brushing my teeth or vacuuming or something like that, then the messages come in. And at times I feel like I've lost it, but I really haven't.
Absolutely. Can I know we're on a time thingy. Can I tell you quickly, all of you?
Yes.
Much time we're not watching
my dancing duck story. My dancing duck story.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes,
I was sitting in circle, and I in the beginning when I was working, I know spirit wanted to work with me in trance. Well, there's absolutely no way I'm going to let a big 6-foot Native American come in, hijack my voice and talk through me. It's not happening. And I'd always had that kind of thing. I've got a bit more humility now, thankfully. And I know they were trying to come in, and I was in this meditation, and then all of a sudden, while I was meditating, I looked off to my right, when you got your eyes closed, and I could see Donald and Daffy Duck doing the twist like this, with their bottoms and the tails stuck up in the air. And I remember thinking, what on earth? And whew, they were there. They'd moved my mind out of the way, and then the energy came in. So Helen, look out for dancing ducks.
I was just about to ask, do you think, obviously our minds can get in the way?
Yes.
And I know, Jane, you worked in an unusual place, didn't you? What was it? You encouraged people to get into you worked with the mind, didn't you?
Yes.
I'm talking in code. I'm not everybody, I promise.
Okay, yes. I worked at a spiritual medical center where it was a neurofeedback center where people could listen to their own brain waves. And in doing so, they did a lot of deep healing. So that's what Paul's talking about. Yes.
So therefore, I mean, you kind of answered the question I had as well, Donna. So it is about state of mind, isn't it? We get caught in mind, and it's about shifting our awareness away from our mind. And that's difficult for some people when we all we know is our mind. And again, that evil sin, which I call comparing ourselves, is our biggest enemy. Apart from doubt, it's number 2, the biggest enemy of all, where we compare ourselves to others. And everyone is so unique. We've got some great questions coming up as well. We've got another one. Can you see the one from Deborah as well? That's a great one.
So when you see a quick shadow of a loved one, why do they instantly disappear?
Okay, so is that one for me to answer? Or
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay, so thanks, Deborah. That is a great question. And so many of us are aware of that. As you said, you're there and you want to see them, don't you? Now, what's going on there is that somewhere in your mind, your kind of your mind waves have fallen into a place where perhaps you're relaxed or you're not thinking about anything in particular, and then the spirit can come straight onto that mind vibration. It's kind of like the door is open without necessarily realizing it. The moment we turn to look, the left brain kicks in because it's trying to focus, and the moment the left brain does that, then the right brain finds it more difficult to function. So that's why it happens. If you see, and especially yourself, Deborah, if you see a shadow there, try not to look at it. Try to let it build up in your peripheral vision. So just keep looking in the direction that you have while it's here. It's tempting to just want to look, but you may find it builds up and it becomes stronger.
Yeah. Do you actually think if you actually saw somebody like a loved one face to face, I don't think would be able to cope with it anyway? I don't know whether it's a part of the human psyche that we protect ourselves from it a little bit. Do you think?
I think it could be. And I think some of it comes from, conditioning and what we've seen on the television. The headless horseman's going to come galloping through your bedroom. And I do think that. I think there's so many people have said to me over the years, I'd love to see my loved one, but I'm afraid of what that will look like. And especially if the loved one wasn't very well at the end of their life, but they will always show themselves in the best way possible. But I agree with you. I think, some people understandably just not quite ready for that. So.
Yeah.
And also it depends on the sensitivity of the individual as well.
Absolutely. We've got a question from Sharon. Oh, sorry, Jane. At the same time.
Okay.
So poor old Sharon, she's having trouble with the internet tonight. She keeps dropping in and out. So we apologies for that, Sharon. But she's also put, what are you feeling and sensing exactly when you know spirit is with you?
Okay, so Sharon, I'll be quick about this just in case. So thank you for asking. So when we think about what I wonder, is that what people feel in general, Sharon? Can you tell us that?
Yeah.
Or is that a personal question to how I feel spirit?
I think it's more how you feel spirit.
How I feel spirit?
Yes.
Okay, right. For me, it's like having someone walking through my door. So if I'm preparing for a reading, whatever I'm doing, demonstration, there's something that happens in my mind. I don't know if you have this, Paul or Jane. There's something that is like a switch that goes in your mind that doesn't happen at any other time in your life, in any other circumstance. And so it's just suddenly, it's there. Sometimes it's just a knowing in my mind that they're there. But I always get the chills as well as it builds up. You get that feeling, your hair stands up. My hair's out here when I'm working, and so the best way I would describe it is, if anybody's ever stood in a queue and somebody comes and stands really closely beside you or behind you, you can feel their energy. That's how it feels to me.
Awesome. Can I be selfish and ask a question?
Yes.
I guess that's probably one of the best things about doing the show is you get to be selfish sometimes and ask some questions from a developing medium, because I always believe I call myself a developing medium because I want to be that. I don't want to be someone who considers myself to be I think we're constantly learning. But I know you've done some amazing stuff. I know you have, to say you've appeared on Sixth Sense with Colin Fry, that's amazing. That's brilliant. How have you, do you feel that nerves? Because a lot of people that I know, and me included, even now, if I'm doing a demonstration, whether it's to 10 people or 100 people, I always get nervous. Mm-hmm. And even sometimes with just a reading, I always get nervous. How do you balance that energy within you before a big demonstration or even anything that working with spirit? Is it a part of working with spirit?
And it absolutely is a part of working with spirit. And some of it is our own nerves, because we want to get it right. We want to be the best we can be for the spirit world and for the loved ones that are receiving. But also it's part of the change of energy. It's the anticipation of the spirit, because it's easy to think about how we are in our experience, but we have to think about spirit as well. Let's imagine you've got a young husband in the spirit world who wants to speak to his wife, and she's sitting in the audience or congregation, wherever we are, whether it's 2, 3, 4 people or 2,000. He's going to want to be with her and talk to her and let her know he's okay. He may be anticipating what's going to happen if he can't get through, because she's there and he can see her. So you're going to be sometimes be feeling the energy of the spirit and their apprehension and their excitement as well. And it sometimes all rolls into one. Now, a little bit of nervousness is really good. And I always say to my students as well, if you don't feel nerves in any way, it's time for a rethink, because it's all part of the process. It's managing it so that it enables you, not disables you. And, as you mentioned, the lovely Colin, as well as doing Sixth Sense, I did a lot of the touring with him and Tony Stockwell. So I was suddenly sort of pinged into the Manchester Opera House as a guest in the second half without knowing, I've got what we used to have to do was deliver 2 messages accurately placed, no room for error, and gone. And that was the deal.
Wow.
So, and I think that was unfortunately, and I don't want to go off on a tangent with this, I will say that the makers of Sixth Sense were incredible people. It's just very sad that the main producer Hilary passed to spirit with cancer. But to go in and to have to do that, I mean, nerves can't disable you. You've just got to do it. This is a little magic trick, and I find it works. If you are so nervous that you're not sure, whoever you are out there, bless your lovely hearts, or working for spirit, if you're nervous, even if it's for a reading, just ask spirit to convert it to working energy. Now it magically happens. Suddenly you find there's something about saying that helps you to harness the energy and to use it to power your spirit connection. That's what I've always found. Try it, guys. It's worth it.
I'm trying that. I've made a note.
Me too. I'm writing it right now. Writing it down.
I still get nervous. I was nervous before coming online this evening. I don't mind telling you.
Too. Well, this is we've almost been going 2 years, and I was nervous and anxious. Always are. It doesn't matter. It's not because the people you're watching it's just a self-conscious thing. Yes. And I know people that have fallen by the wayside that won't do mediumship anymore because of that. They can't deal with that, and that's such a shame, because there's so many good mediums. And I remember I've met Tony a couple of times at the college, and he always used to say you can never get enough good mediums. And I agree. I agree. Yeah.
One of the other things, if I could just offer, was a lovely lady who was an opera singer of all things. And she said to me once, what you do is you stand up if you're working publicly, and the first thing you do is just take a breath. And not a big one, just a second of composure, so that rather than going onto your church rostrum or your demonstration, rather than kind of blah, 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 like that, please don't ask me to do that again. I can only do it once. You just take a split second to just compose, group it together, and use it to power, and it really helps.
Yeah, Helen's made a really good point as well. Can you see that question, Jane? Sorry, I might cut you off, Donna, a little. It's a big one.
So Helen asks, do you think we put our focus on meditation and sitting in the power too much?
Yeah.
As I sometimes think that our expectations from sitting in the power and meditation will give us instant connection to spirit. Should we just be relaxed about it and try to have a different viewpoint from it, instead of from this high expectation that's going to empower us with instant connection?
Yeah. Well, Helen, you know how to ask a good question, don't you? That's brilliant. I would say it's all about balance and knowing yourself, because some people need more than, than sitting. Some people, I beg your pardon, some people need more sitting in the power to feel they're connected, and others need less. And I would say that please find what works for you. Try sitting in the power. Try not sitting in the power. Try finding a midway. We can always connect to spirit wherever we are. If you're in the supermarket and you see a whole array of beautiful vegetables and food, I always say, thank you, spirit. I don't sort of take them shopping with me as such. And I wouldn't like to think I'll become a space cadet, but we can always it's just like living it as a way of life. So, and very often, and Paul and Jane, I don't quite know how you connect, but what I often find, and I've got to be honest, I don't get time to sit in the power anymore, but obviously work quite a lot for spirit. But sometimes it just works. You can be next to somebody wherever you are, and you can feel energy, and it's appropriate to share it. And do remember, it needs to be appropriate. You don't have to meditate to do that. So what I think that meditation and sitting in the power can do is just allow us to make ourselves more available and build the energy. But again, if you don't feel you need that and it's working without, then it's not necessary. I can't stress enough, there's not a right or wrong way to do this. It has to be what works for you. So if you're not sure, whoever's listening, try it one way, try another. Some of the times I think, and Paul, I don't know whether we did this in the weekend you were on with me. Sometimes I just say to somebody, okay, if you can just stand up, please, right, who have you got next to you? And they go, bang, got it. And it can be that simple.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you did get me to come up in front of the group and demonstrate.
Yeah, I seem to remember that.
Because I was a naughty one, so I had to come up and do a demonstration. No, it was lovely. It was a lovely experience because there was a lot of work in mediums already there. And there's a difference when you come from developing your mediumship and then actually going out and delivering mediumship. It's a different game, isn't it? There's a lot more pressure on you, and it's not because you're out there to make money or anything like that. It's about the expectation and representation of spirit world. You're there to be of service. So there is for me, is a big expectation on my shoulders. So I want to try and be the best that I can be, and maybe that's a weakness in me. I don't know, that I'm hard on myself. I don't know, but I find there's a responsibility with that once you step over that line of even taking money for messages. I think there's a real expectations that you've got to deliver. Does that make sense?
It does. And I'm so pleased that you've just touched on that. If we may just have a second with that it is, it is a challenging thing sometimes. The moment we think about taking money to give messages, it becomes different. And I remember sitting with my guides and asking them to guide me. And I don't mind quickly telling the story. I was actually, my youngest son has specific learning difficulties from a very early age. And he needed mum around as well as dad around to go to hospital appointments, etc. And I've got a regular working job. And, I sat with spirit and, they said, I wanted to just do some private readings, but I didn't want to take any money. I couldn't face doing that. And, the guides kind of came back and said to me, you're not charging for the ability, you're just investing a little of something in your time. A lot of people that develop their mediumship, now I hope this doesn't offend anyone, it's just how I feel, spend a lot of money on their development. And I think it's only right. And, it's about, if we take the money word out, it's an exchange. There are some things as mediums, you need to do. Money doesn't even come into it.
Yeah.
But, there are times when that exchange of energy works really well. But you're right, Paul, and Jane as well, once we start thinking about taking money instead of bags of sugar and coffee, which I used to do, that was my currency, biscuits, it changes something in our head. And I think it kind of brings that worth thing in as well. So, mediumship should never, ever be about money, ever, first and foremost. But if you can work for spirit, you can bring comfort to someone, but you need just basic food, light, and a roof over your head. then spirit will not mind you recovering some of that so you can work for them, because you can't do it if you're working somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And that, that's my thought on it.
Yeah. Hi, Eddie. Eddie's also got a question. I don't know if I've jumped here, James. Sorry if I have. Can you see Eddie's one?
I can. Do you think it's important to practice with non-mediums as well as those in circle or a class?
Oh, I do. I think it's important to practice on so many different personalities and energies. It's good to have people come in to practice on that are perhaps a little bit skeptical, because, when you start to do private readings, if that's what you're planning to do, Eddie, then you will come across a complete range of people with personalities, expectations. Sometimes people desperately want the reading, but the energy is sometimes quite difficult to manage, and so we have to approach it differently. I know, Paul and Jane, that you'll know that as well. So I absolutely do think that. What I like to do as well with mine in my class, every now and then I will bring people in. Now, some of them are developing or working mediums, and others are bringing for a very good reason. That's perhaps a friend that's a little bit skeptical, or not quite sure what to make of it all, or even somebody that's not as responsive as perhaps a medium would want them to be, just to give the practice to do that and to develop. Because mediumship, as I'm sure a lot of you know, is one thing, but the skill of it is the delivery of it and the managing of the energy between yourself and your recipient, so that we can create the best environment for spirit.
Oh, interesting. And Eddie's also come back, and this will be a kind of follow-on question, if that's okay. Eddie's come back with, my local mates have just found out about me being a medium. And for you, Donna, personally, what was life like for you, people knowing or finding out that you did this?
Well, it's a really, really good question, Paul, because I'm sorry to sound a bit syrupy and say that I was so very blessed, but the interesting thing was most of my friends weren't surprised.
Okay.
They just, I was apprehensive. I was brought up Church of England, and my mum said, "Don't you please ever change your faith." And I was about to announce myself as a spiritualist and I think I'd gone into a cult. Most of the people I know just said not surprised, but I appreciate how difficult it can be for some people, and it does change relationships in certain circumstances.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and for some people, it can be a negative, though.
Yes.
You can suddenly start developing. I was speaking to a young lady the other week. She's just turned 30, but all of a sudden, the last year, she's had so much come in from the spirit world. Before, she had nothing, and everything's open for her. But everything from her own personal relationships to her friends are really starting to be affected, and that can be quite a journey for some people that have that experience.
And I think as well that when we're developing our mediumship, our energy's changing, and we all know, or I'm sorry if you don't know, but I don't mean to take that for granted, but when our energy changes at an unconscious level, somebody else gets it. That's how you can feel that somebody's changed, or you can feel someone's not happy, or they are happy, or something's really going on with them. And it's the same as your mediumship. Often your vibration's changing and people can't put the finger on it.
Yeah.
And they don't know what it is. They just know it doesn't feel the same anymore.
Yeah. But that's more that the person developing within themselves.
Yes.
Possibly outgrowing that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
As negative that sounds, I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but we do seem to sometimes outgrow people that are around us. But
we do, and so as we know, people come into our life for a reason, and then they stay for a while. Yeah. It's like the reason and the season, isn't it? The old rhyme. But no, I agree with you there as well. I think it's we change, we can move away from certain things.
But on a positive note, for kind of, and I'm not sure if you would agree with this, Jane, but people, oh gosh, I don't want to work with spirit because my life will change. It's not like that. Would you say, Donna, a question to you, because I've just had this come in from spirit. Would you say, though, having your abilities has been a positive in your life in terms of navigating your way through life and some of its difficulties?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, not every, one of the things I learned quite early on as a tutor was not everybody wants to be a working medium. I thought they did. I thought anybody that goes to an awareness class, development class, they all want to do churches. And I began to realise that some people do want to have that connection with spirit so they can reconnect with their own soul energy, their higher self, their guides, so that it can help you to navigate life. Because, I know that the way I used to think about life sometimes changed. And I'd like to think I was far more understanding and open now than I ever was before. And it can have a profoundly positive effect on your life, everyone. So as I said, if you get used to listening to the spirit, listen to your intuition, that's where your spiritual compass is. It's right in your heart there. You know when something feels right, when it doesn't. We know when we're not listening. So no, absolutely. I think that anybody that has the connection to spirit, and it doesn't have to be names, address and phone numbers. It can just be a knowing that you should turn right or left.
Yeah.
Or, those little impulses that are trying to talk to you all the time, or all the time, to guide you through. If we develop the ability, it may not be that you want to deliver a profound message from Uncle Fred and Auntie Edna, but it may be that you just find your connection with spirit that really stands you on your pathway and lets you walk it with trust that it's okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Can we talk about her project? The Spirit Experience Project.
Oh, yes.
Donna. What is that?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Oh, yes, sorry. Donna. Could you repeat that?
We were talking about this before the show and we wanted to know more about it. So can we talk about that?
Yeah. Can we talk about what the Spirit Experience Project is?
Okay, the Spirit Experience was just something that Spirit inspired me quite some years ago, just to start a project of just giving people and helping people to find their own experience of spirit, whether it's mediumship, whether it's things we've just spoken about, and that's kind of just like the umbrella for the teaching that I do. And for many successful years, every year the Spirit Experience used to take a team of tutors up north and to the Cobra Hill Conference Centre, which is very popular with mediums. And we used to have a sort of 5 days with people, helping them to find all of their abilities. You used to bring different people in with different skills, different aspects. So I haven't done anything under that umbrella since just before COVID. And it was so funny because, you think about how Spirit know, that last Spirit Experience seminar, it would not go. Oh. I tried and tried and tried so hard to promote it. People either couldn't make it or it wasn't the right time for them. And I remember saying to Spirit, what is going on? I've never had this happen before. And lo and behold, we had lockdown. Yeah. And I thought that was why, because it was around the same time. Yeah. So what I would say, just to round that up for you, is I will be doing other seminars going forward under the Spirit Experience umbrella. It's the name the Spirit gave to me for what I was trying to do. So thank you for asking.
It's interesting. Yes, you're welcome. Spirit was guided us to give us soul light spiritual talk, and it actually, Spirit will guide you the right way. When I first I was introduced to Jane, and we had a meeting. I was going to ask Jane about becoming on here and helping me host spiritual talk. And on the way home, I'd been demonstrating at a local church, and they said to me, "Look out for the owl; it's the right way to go." And then Jane came on the meeting we had, and Jane was wearing this massive owl on her t-shirt.
And the interesting thing was, about 20 minutes before the meeting, Spirit told me to change my shirt, and I was thinking, well, why? And they showed me, the owl is huge. And so I changed into the owl. I listened, and then Paul said, "There's this owl," oh, wow. And I said, "Oh."
They just said follow. So we're following Jane, basically. Okay, Sharon. Sharon. Hello, Sharon. I want to answer your question. poor Sharon, she's been off and on tonight with the internet problems. I've got a little bit of a challenge for you. Don't panic, Donna. It's not bad, but and a lot of people ask this question. But and briefly, can you tell the audience the difference between psychic and mediumship? Because as Sharon's asked, let me pop it up here. How do you know whether you're tuned into your psychic side or on the medium side?
Well, do you know, Sharon, I think if I was asked the most popular question ever in my whole working time with spirit, I think it's that one.
Yeah. Because
we're told that they're two separate processes, and they are. So, just in a nutshell, being aware of, or working with your psychic abilities, our own innate energy, which is working with the energy of somebody or something else. So it can be a building or a place or a person, to animals, etc. It's our feeling about them. When we're working with the spirit through mediumship, it is the presence of a third party that moves into your energy and lets you know that things are changing. This is not you. This is somebody else's energy that wants to connect. Now, it can take practice to decide between the two. And a really good, if I can give a little tip, one of the things that I use with the students, if they're working with a working partner, I will ask them, I'll help them and encourage them to feel the spirit, then to feel the person's energy in front, then feel the spirit again, then feel the person's energy in front. And once you get to feel the difference, a lot of people describe it as feeling the spirit around here, but the psychic energy more present on a sort of earthly level, as it were. So that's the difference, really, so the mediumship is working with the spirit, somebody who has left their incarnate body, although that can change because it's possible to communicate with spirits of people in comas, etc., with dementia. I think if that was handled responsibly, that would be such a great thing mediums can offer. And then the psychic is working with someone else's energy, precognitive dreams, as we said, what we call premonitions. So it's the absence of the third party that makes it different.
Yeah. I hope that helps you, Sharon. If she's listening, I'm sure she is somewhere, or she'll catch it on catch up. That was brilliant. Thank you for that. So we haven't got long left. We are going to go into messages, guys, and Donna is going to pick someone from you that has shared us in the chat or on Facebook. But on the comments, let us know that you've shared so Donna can see who has shared it, please. Okay. So we've got at least about 8 minutes. So any more questions? I think I might have skipped some. I do apologize if I have. I've been flying through these really quickly, so I'm sorry if I've apologized. I apologize if we've missed your question. And we're getting shared. I have. Hi Mag. Hi Jamie. That's great. Hi Helen. There's lots of people that shared. And that's brilliant. And Deborah has shared also. Brilliant stuff. So what next for you, Donna? Now we're coming out of COVID and it's a whole new, well, hopefully as long as nothing happens with COVID, touch wood. Yeah. It's great to get back with people. And I've noticed this year, it just seems the spiritual people are starting to come together again. What have you got planned now for the future?
Well, I'll be quite honest. See, a lot of my work is now, well, at the moment, predominantly, I would say 95% of my work is online. That happened out of COVID and lockdown and opening up to, and also I work as a tutor for the International School of Intuition and Healing. So they, they have community there as well. So I spend a lot of time working at home at the moment and writing as well. I'd like to, I've only just come back from Germany. I came back for COVID. So that was interesting. Okay. So it's still out there, and I've got some plans this year just to do some weekends away. But I'm looking at I'm developing an interesting concept to do some filming for my YouTube channel, and I can't say too much about that.
Oh, because someone else will pinch it.
Yeah,
you never know who's listening.
All I can say is it's interesting, and it's everything to do with food.
Oh,
so yeah, curious. So I'm developing that. I love writing, so I think that the second book that's been trying to come out of my brain for a while is going to be there. And I think I'm just open. You know, I think if I just feel like this is a year for me to be just open to where spirit will to steer me, because as mediums, everything changed for everyone in the world with lockdown. Some of the churches are sadly never opened up again. Hopefully they will. And I do think as well, Paul, I don't know about you, and possibly Jane as well, I think for now the days of mediums in big theatres has passed.
Yeah.
I feel people want more intimate gatherings now. You know, we've done the multi-thousand thing, which was fantastic at the time, but I think people now have a different way of doing things. So I'm open to wherever I need to go.
Here's a quick question. Do you find, and someone else was talking about this the other day, and I've found this, do you find that there's more healing within the messages that are being given now?
Yes.
Rather than it going to evidential, which is massively important to have validation, but there's a bigger emphasis. And someone else was talking about this the other week, about how that shift of emphasis from the spirit world and how they've started to make the messages more healing, which is really interesting, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, when I first started all those years ago, yeah, the evidence was key. But I think, and I've certainly noticed the shift as well. The message, the evidence, as you say, needs to be there because we need to know who is communicating. But the messages are so important. They're equally as important as the evidence, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to get you to, so I've just put a message on to a lady as well. So they've just bumped up. Can you see the messages on the right-hand side, the people that have shared?
No.
Oh. Okay, so I'm going to read out some names. Okay, if you shared, people, please write your name in the box. I'm just going to, I know some people have shared on different sites. Okay, I'm just going to read about us. So Deborah Lee has shared. Emma Elizabeth has shared. I believe Serena has shared. Susanna has shared. Jane Clark has shared. Who else has shared? Serena. Hi, Serena.
Helen.
Sorry.
Colin. She shared.
Helen's shared as well.
Sharon Cheer. She has shared. That's hard to say.
She's just shouted shared in capitals.
Yes.
Vicky has shared. Any names that stick out for you?
Well, yes, and it's just so fabulous that everyone shared. And I'm probably going to get the sack now. But when you first started reading the list, you mentioned Jamie.
I did. Yeah, Jamie.
And when you said Jamie, and it's just happened again, I've got the tingles and the chills. So I was taken back to it by spirit. So I would say Jamie, please.
Lovely. Jamie Lee. Congratulations. I'm not singing really, but congratulations. I think I'm gonna. So sorry, Jane. This is the first one of the year. I will promise. I actually don't know if it's me or Alice next week. I can't remember. But do you want to start this year's 2023? Because I've done Jamie Lee.
Yes, I haven't read anybody in a while.
Yeah, I know something. It'd be nice to see if you get the same thing. So.
Oh goodness, no pressure.
No pressure at all. Not at all. Absolutely not. And I'm sure Jamie Lee will be thrilled that you're reading for her.
Okay.
So if you'd like to get in contact with, we don't mind you can get in contact with me, Jamie Lee, and I will send you Jane's contact details. Before you go, Donna, can we just thank you a big thank you for coming on tonight? It's been it's a privilege to have you here.
It is.
We've had so many brilliant mediums, and you're now in our Hall of Fame.
You are.
Well, thank you very much. And could I just say, actually, truly the honour is all mine. And to everyone, I can't see your faces and I've not been able to see all the messages, but thank you so much for giving your time, your energy and your love to this chat this evening. It's been amazing. And thank you, Paul and Jane, for the invitation. I've loved it. Every minute of it.
We should also say a lot of people watch us on Catch Up, and some of the information, it's like having a little teaching session if you're a budding medium. So we appreciate all the advice and all the help. We can't thank you enough.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Don't forget, everyone, just be yourselves and let spirit work through you. Everything will be fine.
Absolutely. So
Pearls of wisdom.
We got to say goodbye now. So we've got to actually work now, Donna. So we will say goodbye. Thank so much. You've deserved a lovely cup of tea or glass of sherry. I'm not sure if it's a glass of sherry before bed.
No. Right now, but let's see if we can work. Should we do a miracle? Everybody count 3, 2, 1. So we can turn to sherry or something.
Oh, it'd be nice. Well, I've got
Nice.
orange squash, so I'm not sure that's going to work. Mine's the wrong colour. But anyway, lovely to see you, Donna, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. Good. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Can I just say, we drop Donna out. We don't actually kick her out the studio.
No, yeah, she's still here.
She's still here. She wants to watch. She'll probably...
Yeah.
No pressure. I feel really pressured now. Donna's watching.
Me too.
I shouldn't have said nothing. So we're going to work, okay? And so you guys know how Jane works now. So I'm just going to share into... Actually, we've got it on the banners as well, our link. It will be lovely for you to come on and come in and join in, because we do work with a voice. It's really good to hear your voice as well. And it's not quite the same when we work just through the chat. So it's really good. Jane obviously works with a question. So if you've got a question you'd like to ask Jane, then I can work off of Jane. If not, I will give message as well. Just see what else we've got on here. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly share that. And can I ask you something while I'm doing this, Jane? Is that all right?
Yes, of course.
There was a lady that asked a question a moment ago. I'm just going to copy this and put the link in. Was there anything to give to people? Is there anything from the spirit world to give to people for 2023? Any messages of hope or inspiration? No pressure, by the way.
As soon as, yeah, none taken. As soon as you said that, I heard be calm, be calm,
be calm,
be calm.
That's probably.
I don't know if that's for.
We've got Marcus Day come on the chat. He's asked for the lottery numbers. Now, Marcus Day, you should know better than that. Okay.
Yes.
Marcus,
if I win the lottery, though, Marcus, I'll share it with you.
Yeah. Marcus, those of you who don't know, Marcus is also a well-known medium, and he's trying to come in. I'm a fledgling spirit artist. Is there anything more I should be doing? Okay, so we'll go with Helen then. We'll go with Helen. Okay. We'll put her quote. I'm a fledgling spirit artist. Is there anything more I should be doing?
Spirit is making me feel like there is a gap. So I just see, and I had to look over here to the ocean because that's my inspiration. But I saw a great big gap. So it was Helen, is that correct? Her name?
Yeah.
Helen?
Yeah, it was Helen, yeah.
Helen is over here, and then the artist is over here, and there's a great big gap in between. So what is going on over there?
It's really inappropriate. Someone's asked, is there going to be a new midfielder player for Liverpool? So I'm not doing that.
I don't know.
Carry on. Ignore me. Ignore me.
So there's something in the gap. I don't know how to say this.
Yeah. I can feel that. So psychically, I'm picking up on Helen. And I kind of feel like she needed to take a little bit of time out, okay, and come back to this. I don't know you, Helen. I've never met you before, but I can kind of feel what Jane is saying is some kind of, not a block, but sometimes, like Donna was saying, sometimes we need to take a time out and then come back to things. But I feel like you have come back to that, and you're now starting to build up that your ability now. Tanya's come in as well. Device is not connected, but we'll bring Tanya in a sec.
So for Colin, for me, it feels like because I can see the ocean and it's nice and calm. It's like going to the ocean, if you can go to the ocean, or go to a lake, or swim in water to get that connection with the earth. And then I feel like that will help. That is their spirit's like, that is the gap. That's the gap. So the gap is more like our screen here. Okay. It's pretty big.
Okay. We've
that makes
got
sense?
It does make a lot of sense. We've got a lot of people starting to ask a lot of questions. So I'm going to bring Tanya in as well. I believe Tanya's got a question. Hi, Tanya.
Hi.
How you doing? So Tanya has been a guest on Spiritual Talk before. Hiya.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Okay.
You're a medium as well, Tanya, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I'm a bit of a large over Christmas, but yeah, I'm a medium.
I love that. Do you know that is one of my jokes? That is one of my poor jokes. Oh, can I just ask, while you're back here, you're also known as the singing medium, aren't you?
Indeed, yes.
So how does that work? So do you get a song and then tune in to the audience?
No, so it is actually like it's a demonstration of mediumship, but I used to be a singer as well, so I sort of incorporate them both together in these particular specials, and it really lifts the vibration when you're doing the demonstrations, and everyone's vibration is happier and uplifting, you know, so it's kind of like spirit are having a good time as well, and you know, and sometimes I'm drawn to a song for a person. Otherwise I just have you know, I'll put a song list together just before the demonstration, but it's a real sort of, you know, uplifting good time, a great vibration for demonstrating.
I can connect to that because the first thing I heard from my dad, and it had been 5 years since he'd passed, and it was an old East End song about being Henry VIII. I knew it's my dad. I was just hanging my washing out, and it came strong. It's the songs and music are what we associate, really powerful. Sorry, Tanya, we're digressing. What was your question?
What's your question?
You made me forget now. No, so we just made me change my mind on what I was going to ask, but I just wanted if you guys could tune in to see. I am looking for my own spiritual place at the moment, and I'm hoping that's coming this year. And I just wanted to see what you could pick up on that.
So it's really interesting. Straight away, I've been taken to different places with that. It's not actually a building, is it? It's not actually it's more of a concept. Does that make sense? I'm getting the idea and the concept and having it like an online church rather than a particular place. So people buy into that concept. And I'm getting this really strongly from Spirit. I don't know whether you've had this idea or not. And as you're sitting there, I've got a gentleman standing behind you that's giving me this information as well. And he's talking about being able to shift that fixed idea of like having a specific space, but taking it to an online venue. And I know Donnie mentioned that, more online work now, but I feel that really strongly, like a collective online. Does this make sense? Almost like a school online, but it's more of a center. Does that make sense? You can tell me now.
Yeah, well,
put rent down on a center, but that's not what I'm getting from Spirit at all.
Okay, that is really interesting because yes, I am looking for an actual place, but I've had lots of inquiries and interests, obviously from far afield, because I've done quite a bit in Spain and stuff. So to have a more online place as well, and I haven't really looked into it too much yet, but 2022 was the year of change, and this is the year to put it into place.
Absolutely, because I've got that for you. Absolutely, changing everything in the way you work is completely different. Also, there's going to be a real strong healing aspect to this. Whatever it is you're going to be doing, there is quite a strong healing aspect to that. Okay, I don't want to get too personal online. And the problem with being psychic, you pick up on everything. And I don't want to get too personal online, but I feel it's twofold as well. There's a healing aspect for you in terms of your own personal development, but self-healing. But you're going to be offering a lot. There's a lot of that, the healing aspect to what it is you're doing for your center.
Thank you. Because I'm also an angelic Reiki master, so
okay. So yeah,
to incorporate the healing is massive, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely, and I think that's probably the highest vibration that you'll bring to that. Will bring people towards you with that. So much to offer, so little time to do it.
I know time is of the essence, and there's not enough.
Yeah.
So can I just
thank you so much? Thank you.
Sorry, Jane. Yeah, sorry, Jane.
It's hard to get anything in.
Jane hasn't got a word in edgeways tonight.
I know, I'm too polite and too quiet, you know. So, Tanya, I usually get cool energy from the left, but I'm getting cool energy from the right. So left to me is normal. So right to me is different. And so Spirit is making me feel like this spiritual place, it's going to be a lot different than what you have in mind. Ooh, it's got like full body goosebumps saying that. So it's going to be a lot different. It's like they are cherry picking, I don't know how to say it, but different events, different stories, different things for you to run with, they said.
Fantastic.
And they're like, you might question it, but just to go with it.
Okay.
It's going to be different than what you realize.
Wow, thank you so much.
Donna, can I bring you back in just for a sec? I'm just going to bring do you mind sharing what you just said? Because I totally agree with you.
I said Tanya has lovely energy.
Oh, thank you so much.
You have an amazing energy. You're such a beautiful, lovely, shining star, you know, and I think if anybody is looking for somewhere to find direction, comfort, love, steering, healing, they'll find it with you at anything you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
Choked up, but that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I don't know whether I feel a bit rude dropping you out again, Donna. Do you want to stay? Do you want to stay, Donna? Would you like to stay with us on this journey? Okay, I'll just
stay with you a little bit longer if I can. If you don't mind, I'll behave.
Yeah, okay. You don't have to.
You don't have to.
People that don't. So I'm going to drop. Oh, actually, I'm going to get you to stay, actually, because I'm not sure if I've got a link for you. I've got somebody around you, the gentleman behind you, and I've actually got two. I've got a mother and a father. I'm not sure this is where I'm going with this, but I'm going to go with it. But I've got the gentleman that wants to speak to you more. And I know there's an issue with his lungs. He would have passed with an issue with his lungs because he's showing me there's a problem. I'm not sure if it was lung cancer, but there was I know the problem was when you give medical conditions, you can be really generic because most. Is this
for me, Paul or Donna?
Yeah, I think it is for you. I'm not sure, but I'm just.
I can take that.
This. Okay. I know a lot of us get pneumonia before we pass. Now, I know this gentleman had problems with his lungs. I know he connects to you. I know he feels. Because I see him behind you. So I'm assuming it's for you. So I don't like to assume anything with spirit because they work in so many different ways. But I know he connects to you. There is a real essence with him about not responsibility, but he feels the responsibility. So I'm not sure if it's his dad or granddad. And I know in life he wasn't sure about the work you did. It wasn't until he passed into the spirit world that he realized that what you was doing, there was a validity. Is that the right word? Valid. It was helpful. It was, but while he was here, he wasn't sure whether he believed in it. Would you understand that? See, I know, and the problem is I can hear your accent. I know you're from the Liverpool area. I know that. You can tell me. I'm cheeky, aren't I? I know. I'm so sorry, but I know he connects me into Liverpool. This is why I feel like this is connecting to you. This is more about you. Okay.
Yeah, this is Dad.
Okay. Also, there was talk about you going to America because he's making me aware of that and working in America. And he's so proud of you. There's something within you that wants to go to America and work in America, and he's trying to make it happen. So I don't know what it is you're doing.
Do you know, Paul, you're the third medium that spoke to me about America, and I've been focusing on Spain, and I haven't even thought about going to America. Well, I haven't got any contact there, I don't think.
Your dad is getting your radar and going, I'm taking you out that way. So, it's, you know, where I don't know, there's something that's going to connect in there as well. I'm also picking up a football fan in the family because he's making me aware of the football connection as well. You're not a Liverpool fan, are you?
Of course.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologise to the viewers.
What do you mean, sorry? And my dad was.
Yeah, absolutely. And because I did wonder whether he was Everton, but I got a bit of a rebuff. when I connected with Everton, so I knew he was a Liverpool fan. I know Eddie mentioned about a Liverpool midfielder. Your dad is just so much full of pride with you. He came through the door as you came on the screen. He stands behind you. He just wants to support you. Forgive me, have you been feeling a bit rubbish? Have you had COVID or flu or something?
So I had that horrible leg. I fell in work and fractured my ankle for a starter. So that's been in a boot. And then I had that horrible viral bug
all I can
just before Christmas.
All I can say to you is he's trying to get you're on the mend now. He's trying to get you up and get you going again, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All good in now.
And sometimes when we're ill, it gives us a chance to recharge the batteries and go again.
Sure.
And by the way, who says that you can't sing? Because he's talking. Someone said to you, you can't sing, and you've proved them wrong. You've proved them wrong.
My sisters always take the mickey out of me.
Well, you've proved them wrong, he says. Okay,
yeah.
I'll leave that with you. I'll leave his love with you, Tanya. Thank you for coming in and asking a question. Eddie's all over this as well about being a Liverpool fan. Okay, thank you for joining us.
And you know what? Tanya. Thank you so much. And Donna, it's nice for all of us mediums to tune in and listen to other perspectives and views and opinions, which is, we're all on this continued learning journey. And I've really enjoyed that tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Lovely to meet you.
Yes, thanks. You too. Thank you for having me. Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, okay. We've got quite a few messages coming. There's one here from Rhonda. Can you see that one, Jane?
I can. Can I ask a general question? Have any of you ever had a spirit say that they wish they were still alive?
Oh, shall we all answer that? Donnie, as you're here, because I kind of feel guilty dragging you back in here. Shall we all answer?
I feel like I've hijacked you.
I have.
It's okay. It's okay. Hijack away.
That's a really good question.
It really is.
Isn't that fabulous?
Yeah, it is a really good question.
The only time it's ever happened to me that I can remember, and strangely enough, it was recently, and it was in a reading with a gentleman who had passed the spirit, and he and his wife, there was just the two of them together, and they didn't have much family, they didn't have any children, and he did say something to the effect of, I'm okay here, but I wish I would go through my life again with you there, so that I could take care of you again. And it was really moving.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So I think he in this particular, but he was okay. He understood where he was and what had happened, etc. But at that time in his life, seeing his wife's grief had made it more difficult for him to settle. But I'm sure he'll find his place in some she. But that's my experience of it.
Yeah. How about you, Jane?
I really haven't, because really just because the other side is a lot more beautiful.
Okay.
And we can really put into words here. So I've had more spirits say, wait till you get here. It's beautiful. So no, not really. What about you?
In my experience, and I had one today, as a lady in America, her brother came through and he said, it's great over here, but I miss my Yorkshire pudding.
I had a feeling you were going to say Yorkshire pudding.
and I've had one where a little old lady came in. She used to say, "Oh, do you know what? Every Friday, fish and chips," and I miss my fish and chips. So it just kind of, whether it's them trying to give them a sense again, because there's evidence within that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Very strong evidence link. They love their food, but not in a sense of they want to be back. The only thing I felt from my dad is I remember a medium told me, and I can believe my dad being like this. A medium told me that he's waiting for you all. He's waiting for you all. He's not going anywhere until you all come over. So so I don't think that's him wanting to come back and be here. But it's just that kind of not being able to move forward. Maybe, I don't know. It's a difficult one, that. But we just lost Donna. She came in. She's just dipped out. We're gonna bring Lizzie in. Donna, feel free if you want to drop out. We're gonna bring Lizzie in as well for another message. Thank you again for coming on.
Okay, bless you. Yeah, I've got a very early start tomorrow morning. I would love to stay for the rest of the broadcast, but as I said, I've got to be on my magic carpet and away.
Oh.
So I won't stay. So thank you again, everyone. It's been absolutely
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. I always feel bad about dropping people out. Okay, so we got 2 people that have come on, have asked questions. Okay, let's go for Donna first. We'll bring Lizzie in a minute. Hi, Donna. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. What is your question?
Well, I've never done this before. I saw you in Bury St Edmunds just before Christmas.
Okay.
You mentioned these online things, so I thought I'd have a look. I haven't really got a question, really. Just listening in.
I love your honesty. Well, it's lovely to join us. So everyone's been watching. You've got about 1,000 people watching you right now.
Yeah.
Your face.
Your debut.
Oh my God! I would have done my hair.
How long does it? How long before a spirit feels comfortable to come to you to ask you to give messages?
Okay, so are you talking about when
somebody that's passed over? If they
so in my experience, at any time really, it depends. I think sometimes it's also about the mindset of the person when they was here.
Right.
There is a process of passing when they pass over into spirit. I find that you can connect with someone really quickly before the funeral. After the funeral, it can take a little bit longer. But generally they will try to connect. It won't always be as strong. I find those that have been over a bit longer, stronger connection, whether that's them trying to connect with us or whether it's, us wanting to connect with them that blocks it. There's lots of different ideas around that. So there's no reason why someone can't connect with you if they're ready. Right. Absolutely not. So I'm assuming did I give you a message?
No, somebody I was with, you gave a message to.
Okay. Yeah. So, was it all right? I can't remember if I was any good or not.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah. Your message to her made perfect sense once we got home.
Brilliant. And you normally find it's quite funny when I give messages to groups of people, they'll be like, oh, I'm not sure about that. But their friends will be going, oh, yes, she does that all the time. Yes, it's so funny. It is so funny when that happens. But yeah, thank you for coming.
Okay.
I'm glad you come, but thank you. Any more questions? Is there anything you'd like to ask Jane? Because she works in a very different way to me. And
so I work with the angels.
Right, okay.
Any question you'd like to know? Come on, I'd be all over this. I wanted to ask.
I don't really know how the angels. I've only ever looked into like the medium side of things, so I'm not sure how the angels work.
Okay, ask any question. Is there anything you'd like to know about for you? Is there anything
for myself?
Yeah.
Right. I have a direct line. I guess you could say a direct line to angels and spirit guides. So if you ask a question, I will receive an answer.
Okay. What can I ask a question about my life or?
Yes, they just said don't be shy.
Oh, okay. I'm caring for my grandmother, and there are days where I don't think I'm doing a good enough job, and I just wondered if I am doing everything as I should.
So as you said, you feel like you're not doing good enough. I felt a whole bunch of emotion, like just waterworks coming over me, just a lot of emotion coming over. And I received full body goosebumps. Like they said head to toe that you were doing more than enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
More than enough.
Overwhelmingly.
And yes, me too. And it's like they're standing there applauding you. And the moment when you start to cry, even if it's like a 5-second cry, when the tears come out, they're showing me that they're rubbing your back and soothing your soul, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're very proud of you.
Yeah.
Very proud of you.
We're not going to make you cry live on air.
No.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. But please do not go there. You are doing a brilliant job. All right. I've just seen your message, Donna, as well. I've never done this before. Please don't bring me live. I'm so sorry. I've only just seen it. Like that. I'm gonna get offline. That blinking Paul, you put me on front of everyone. Didn't do me hair.
And you almost made me cry.
You made me cry.
Jane almost made me cry.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. God bless you, Donna. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
And hopefully tune in again soon.
I will.
Yes.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. So we got Lizzie to come on.
Mm.
Hi, Lizzie. You got your
Hello.
headphones? How
Oh,
you doing?
I'm fine. I wish we'll be well enough.
Oh, there's a bit of repeat there.
Yeah.
Have you got a question for us?
Yeah. Friends of mine passed recently, but in October I had
Oh, hang on a sec. Hang on, Lizzie. Hang on, Lizzie. You've got like a reverb. Have you got anything else on around you?
No. I just have my head.
Yeah, it might be.
Can you move the mic a little bit away?
Yeah, drop your microphone. How's that?
It's better.
Yeah.
Is it any better? Okay.
Yes.
So, what was your question? I didn't hear it.
Yeah, well, two of my acquaintances passed October, and I felt them around me, and I thought I had a conversation with them, but there are signs that either they weren't or he was off. How do I was?
So, I believe you said, because we still got this reverb, it sounds like you've got two of you talking at once and then it's bouncing. So I heard you had two.
Hold on. What I just the entire thing.
Okay.
Is this any better?
Yay! Welcome.
But you also have crackles too. Did you know?
Oh, you just broke up again, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You might want to unplug your headphones.
Me?
No. She's still got them plugged in.
No, I don't.
Oh no, you don't. Okay. Yeah. Might have to stop you, Lizzie. Do you want to come out and come back in again?
I tried to try that.
All right. Thank you. Oh, that's a shame. We'll give her a little 10, 30 seconds, I don't know, and see if she can come back in. But it's been a brilliant show. I've really enjoyed it.
Yes.
And guys, if you're sitting at home tonight thinking, yeah, I really enjoyed this, it's lovely what Tanya said about, listening to other people's experiences with mediumship. If there's anybody you would like to see or to have on the show, let us know. Send us in your ideas. We have literally got about 2 to 3 months worth of guests lined up already. We've got another guest confirmed today, Maria Wheatley. Have I said that right? Wheatley?
Yes, Maria Wheatley.
She's another amazing guest. Check her out on YouTube. She's also releasing a new show soon, isn't she?
She is, yes, and a book as well.
Yeah.
A movie and a book. Yes.
Yeah. And here she comes. We'll give it one more go. Hi, Lizzie.
Hello.
Oh, that's better.
Okay, do you want to ask a question again?
Oh, no, it's not better.
My acquaintances in October, and I felt them around them, and I had a conversation with them. But their story was off compared to what I heard about their death. How do I know if I received or made it up?
Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
I'm just going to mute you for a sec. Just put your thumbs up if you can hear me. Great. So I believe you said you've lost an acquaintance in October and you've received two acquaintances and you've received some information from them. How do I know it's from them and not in my mind? Is that what you're saying, or part of you?
I think she meant, like, how does she know that they've crossed over? Is that correct? No. Can you put it in the comments? We'll just talk amongst ourselves for a minute. I don't want to leave you hanging. No.
Lucy, I really don't. Problem is, you start tuning into spirit. We could open up to a panacea and get somebody else in. So I want to try and focus with Lizzie.
If that happens to you, Paul, can you tell the other spirits to stand off to the side?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, but I'm picking up somebody already, but I'm not sure this is for Lizzie. I don't know if she can hear me. Did you put the comments in, Lizzie? Can you?
Oh, it's in the private. It says,
it's in the private chat. Oh, wow. Okay, so
it says, did I get deceived by the other power?
Okay. Other powers. You mean your own powers?
Like
or
the lower
do you mean by
frequencies?
other influences from the spirit world? Okay, right. Okay, so you know your acquaintances that you lost. Okay, now you would know everything about them. So as long as you're receiving information from them that you know is true, there's no reason why it's not true. I guess what you're trying to say is, how do I know this? Because of my mind. Is that what you're saying? Because I'm getting a bit confused. Yeah. Oh, bless you. I'll tell you what we'll do, because we have run out of time. If you stay there, Lizzie, we'll finish the show and we'll bring a connection through for you, because it's a bit like being on a radio show and not being able to hear the person. All right. So stay there. We're going to say goodbye to everybody, and we'll be back this time next week, won't we, Jane?
We will, yes.
And looking forward. We've got a new outro as well. It's a bit dramatic, people, so prepare yourself. But once again, we want to say thank you to Donna. It's been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Donna.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you.